This is Monty with Bill Brothers Roofing and Solar, starting my digital inspection. We're at a property in the Del Mar area, and what we're looking at here is a one-piece clay tile roof. Now, this house was built in 1995, making the roof roughly 29 years old, and this roof has had some repairs done in the past. You can see a couple replacement tiles, and then taking a look at the vent right there and the sewer pipe, you can see that metal flashing has been added around there. So compare that to the rest of the penetrations, there's mortar on them. Another thing that tells us that, this roof is majority original, there's no drip edge on the perimeter. Drip edge is that metal flashing that gets put on the eaves, preferably on the fascia board, and allows that water to safely or freely flow off anytime it rains and not soak into the wood. Right, we do have a handful of cracked tiles on this roof. This was done from the termite company when this place was tented for termites. So broken tiles are going to be sometimes inevitable, right? And we see that this house has pool solar. Okay, you can see that either this same system was moved over from this spot. You can see all that mastic on the tiles. So maybe this was moved over, or maybe there was a second system. I'm not sure. Now, we do see signs of failure points, right? Over time, these tiles begin to slip and fall away from the counter flashing, all right? That just happens naturally over time. Again, this house is 29 years old, so this is going to be inevitable, right? Another thing I noticed on this house is wood damage from the termites. It looks like the termites were eating away underneath the wood, underneath the eaves. So there are signs of wood damage from the termites as well. But again, you can see how these tiles are starting to slip, and then around the penetrations, those have mortar. But essentially what we want to focus on is the waterproofing capability of this roof, right? What does the waterproofing is that felt paper underneath these tiles, okay? So that is going to be the key to keeping that water out. And then again, more points of failure and premature leaking, right? We have the mortar on the ridge caps. These begin to crack over time, and then these valleys, right? We have valley metal along these tiles, but you can see just how crowded this is. You can't actually even see the valley metal unless you pull a tile. But here's what we want to focus on. Once that product has gone past its life expectancy, well, it's going to start looking like this. You can see just how much water has been soaking into this, essentially turning the product into dust. Typically, felt paper underlayment is only expected to last 20, maybe 25 years. All right, this is 29 years old, so it is on borrowed time. Okay, so water has been soaking into the product for quite some time, years and years. And again, you can see just how crowded this is. We definitely want to space this out and allow for proper flow and drainage anytime it rains. Again, we see more cracked mortar, more broken tiles. You can see some water staining and more slipped tiles. This one actually had a rusted nail and was able to slip down very easily, all right? But you can see just how stained the product is, right? You can see how dirty this is and how water stained it is. All right, moving on near the chimney. Chimneys are always a sensitive area that we like to check that are prone to leaking. And what we wanted to check is the paper underneath this part. So again, lifting this up very carefully, you can see underneath there, and you can see just how water stained and dirty the product is. It's very soft to the touch. A new felt paper underlayment is going to be very granular, very gritty. This is very soft and very dust-like, right? And it's essentially falling apart to my touch. Again, we have another cracked slash broken tile. More slip tiles around this chimney, and again, you can see just what years and years of water penetration can do to the product, right? You can see, again, just how dust-like this is, very water stained, and this is extreme case of water damage, all right? I wouldn't be surprised if the wood was also had some water soaking into it as well, and again, we see these tiles starting to slip. So it's very evident that this roof has not passed its life expectancy. What we want to do is a full lift and reset. Because this is not lightweight clay tile, we can do a lift and reset on this, and we can reuse the clay tiles that are currently on here. And keep in mind, just a quick disclaimer, there will be most likely a couple broken tiles here and there, but we'll replace those with new. All right, and then for the penetrations, we want to add metal flashing to each and every one of these, making them look like that, and get rid of this mortar. This is outdated. We no longer install this on penetrations. All right, we want to update the outer edge with drip edge, so allow that water to properly flow off. And then again, we also want to open up these valleys so those tiles aren't crowding. All right, and then wood replacement. Wood replacement is going to be expected on this roof. Wood replacement is done on a discovery basis. We can't determine the amount that needs to be replaced until we actually lift off this old material and get rid of it. So that gets done day by day. All right, thank you.